And we're sharing our screen too. Okay, so good morning. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the monthly Calvet Women Veterans Informational Webinar. We put these webinars on every other month now, and so for September, we didn't want to risk no one joining us because we would be doing that on Labor Day. So we decided to move the call back a week. So normally we do our calls on the first Monday of every other month at 10 a.m. But just look to our emails that you'll get from us if we have to reschedule it and push it back a week or so because of a holiday. So thanks again for joining us. These are recorded, and you can find all of our webinars on our website, calvet.ca.gov/womenvets, and look under our Around California tab to see our archived webinars. Typically, these webinars will go 1 hour. If we go over a little bit, then hopefully you can continue on with us through the course of the information we're going to provide today. We're very excited to talk about financial counseling and financial literacy. This is going to be a great topic. It's going to cover everything from stuff like debt consolidation to improving your credit score and several things in between. I think you're going to learn a whole lot today. After the presentation, probably 10 minutes left into the hour, so around 10:50 or so, we'll open it up for questions. In the meantime, try and hold your questions till the end. If you have a question that you want to ask through our GoToMeeting chat window, you can ask that at any time, and we'll be sure to address it at the end of the call. Just keep any of your questions over the phone till the end so that we can make sure our guest presenter can get as much information to you as possible. Please, as a reminder, remember to mute your phones too so that we can cut down on any background noise that we might have. And I think that's it for our general housekeeping items. A lot of you have attended these calls before, so you kind of know the drill. So just a few updates from the California Department of Veterans Affairs. We have a lot of events coming up in the next couple months because we're going into Veterans Day, so this is our busy season for sure. And so some things you might want to be aware of that are happening in California. The Mexican-American Veterans Memorial is currently going through its rebeautification process. This has been a project that's been a long time in the making, and we're so excited to see the final results of the beautification for this wonderful and deserving memorial. It's here in Capitol Park in Sacramento. There will be a rededication ceremony happening this fall as well. And so for any events that you're interested in, Calvet shares those on our main page at calvet.ca.gov. And then you can also find a lot of events that we'll be sharing from the Women Vets Division through our Facebook page and through the emails that you get regularly from us. Another great event coming up here in the fall is going to be the opening of the Monterey Cemetery, the Calvet Monterey Cemetery at the Fort Ord property. That'll be opening up next month. So you can see more information about that coming up, also available on our website. And so just stay tuned from us for more information and updates and regular emails and Facebook posts from the Calvet Women Veterans Division. We'll be attending a lot of events in October and November. There's a lot going on for Women Vets coming up. I think Julene Krikas, my analyst, who's here with me today, will be attending and presenting at about 6 different events throughout the state in the next month or 2. So we'll post all of those on our website to be sure that you guys know where events are happening in your area and how to get to these great celebrations in honor of women veterans. So that's pretty much all I have for updates from Calvet. You're also welcome to ask questions via our chat window or hold questions till the end if you have any questions for our division. You can also always contact us via phone and email, and our number is 916-653-1402. You can also email us at womenveterans@calvet.ca.gov. So with that, I'd like to introduce our guest presenter. Our guest presenter today is Jason Athas, and he is from the nonprofit Debt Management Credit Counseling Corps. He is going to provide some fantastic information for you today. I hope he's able to answer a lot of your questions and great information on managing your own financial success and getting to a good place of financial stability. So with that, I'm going to turn over the presentation to Jason and let him get started.
Great. Thank you, Lindsay. Good morning, everybody. Let's see if we can get this. Oh, what happened here? You've been made the presenter. I'm going to show my screen.
Great.
See what happens here.
Let me know if you're having any issues with that, Jason.
Okay.
Second window comes up, is that right? Yeah. Julian? Okay.
It did that, and I said go to it. I don't have it here.
All right, so we do see your screen. So do you have your, I think if you just put your PowerPoint up, yeah, then we can see your screen right now, which is the GoToMeeting screen.
Okay, go up to the green area there, okay.
Yeah, so open up your PowerPoint, and I think it'll work. You might be able to see it that way.
Oh, okay, so I got to go onto my email, pick up my PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that real quick. Back here. I'm about to go back to here.
Yeah, if not, I can always run it for you if that's easier, Jason.
Okay, I think I'm up on the screen. Can you see my screen now?
No, what we see is just where it says we're waiting to view your screen. So maybe if you have two monitors open, bring one back to the.
I just have one monitor. Like that.
I can do it again. Oh, there it is.
You got it?
Yep, it's up.
Excellent. Let's see if I can make this work a little bit better here for us. Yeah, let's see. Just to minimize shrink controls here, right? There we go. How's that? Everybody there?
Yeah, we're here. Maybe the icon for presentation mode, if you want to select that down by the zoom and zoom out, zoom in, in the bottom right. Yeah, there you go. So the icon right next to the percentage, that little screen-looking thing. Yeah, that one. That might help. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks for the patience, everybody. It's great. My name is Jason Akis. I work for a company called Debt Management Credit Counseling, and we are based over here in Lighthouse Point, Florida, three time zones away from you, but still in the United States. We are a not-for-profit credit counseling agency, and we're a true not-for-profit credit counseling agency. You won't see us advertised on TV and radio and things like that. We get a partial funding from HUD, and we try and reach out to as many people as we can. Part of our mission statement is to give folks financial literacy, teach them different things, and hopefully make it so they can be self-sufficient with their finances. Today, what we're going to talk about, I think we have three topics that we're going to talk about. The first thing is going to be a budget. The second one is going to be, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown between a debt consolidation company, a debt settlement company, things you've heard about on TV before, and bankruptcy. And then we'll get into credit scores and credit reports, and hopefully give you some insight there. So there's a lot of information, but I think we can do it. I think we can get it all done. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is budgeting. Our company, as a not-for-profit credit counseling agency, does free budgeting sessions. So I'm going to try and give you some insight on how you can do a budget on your own. But at any time, if you need any help, you can go to our website, which you'll see later on down the bottom, or call on our toll-free number and talk to a credit counselor and get a free budgeting session. A majority of the stuff that we do on the phone is budgeting work. A lot of people call, they have a lot of debt, they have a lot of issues, and they want to see what they can do about getting out of debt. We have people who call us up with $50,000, $60,000 in credit card debt, and they don't know what to do. The first thing we do is a budget with them. Probably 50% of the people that we help, we don't necessarily have to do anything. Once we present a budget with them, they follow the budget and they're able to make things work on their own. They don't necessarily need any help.
Jason, this is Lindsay. I'm sorry to interrupt. We have a little bit of reverberation coming back. Can I just ask everybody to mute their phones again so that we can make sure we can hear Jason very clearly? Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So why budget? People sit back and say, well, I don't have to budget. I think I know how to make everything work. I understand where my money's going, I think. And the first thing I say to people when I think they have a good handle on budget is to say to them point blank, today is Monday, September 12th. Tell me how much and how much money you spent a week ago on Monday. And they look at me like, what do you mean? And I go, well, last Monday, a week ago today, what did you spend? Where did your money go? Well, they start scratching their head. They don't understand. They're not sure where things went. Well, I think, let's see, I might have gone shopping. I'm not too sure. And my point out of the whole thing is the reason that we budget is because we don't have the ability to remember. We don't have the ability on a 30-day schedule to remember what we spent our money on and where it went, because money can go out of your pocket, as we all know, very, very quickly. So we want to plan for purchases. We want to gain control of our personal finances and get rid of the wasteful spending. Hopefully, your money is getting direct deposited into a checking account, and you don't have a pile of cash sitting in your pocket on Friday afternoons, because I can guarantee you by Monday, most will be gone. If you want a budget, you really need to put a savings plan together. You want to get out of debt, you really need a budget. You cannot do this on your own just by thinking about where money went and you know what's going to happen next. You really have to make a plan and put things down. That's probably the the key to making a budget work. Why don't people budget? It takes too much time. You know, I'm not sure how much where it's going to go, and I'm not going to budget. I work hard for my money. I want to spend whatever I can. So people perceive it as you're setting a limit on spending when you do a budget, or they just don't have financial goals, or nobody taught them how to do a budget. So that's really the key as to where the problems lie with budgets. So the first thing we need to do is you need to track your expenses. A lot of folks have money in their pocket, goes right out the window. They can't account for where the money went. So probably what you want to do if you're going to do a successful budget, I want you to go through your checking account and I want you to list down all of your expenses. Don't forget to go and grab the information on the debit card and where that money went as well. I don't want you to use cash as is difficult to track, but I'm going to say that with one question, and we're going to get to that a little bit as far as using cash. So don't forget to track all your ATMs, all your ATM withdrawals. It's very easy on Saturday afternoon to sit back and say, geez, I needed a quick $40. You go and you grab $40 out of the account, but you forget to write it down. And where did that $40 go? Was it something you were planning, or was it just something willy-nilly that you did with money? And then consider, if you don't want to do all that stuff, using the daily, weekly tracker expense form, which is on the next slide, which is this slide here. I have this in here with me at the office, and if it's something that people want, you can send me an email. I'll send you this form out, or I can send it to Lindsay, and she can have it, and you guys can use it over there. But basically, all it is a piece of paper, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I want you to make 4 copies of this. And starting next Monday, or this Monday, I want you to write down, take paper number 1, write down week number 1, paper number 2, week number 2, week number 3, week number 4. So starting on Monday, week number 1, as soon as you go out, write down where the money went. For example, you maybe went to Starbucks, maybe you went to McDonald's, maybe you grabbed a quick breakfast at the donut shop. You write down breakfast, $5, $6. Don't forget to put the tip in there. And then you put 10 bucks of gas in the car. And then you stopped at the supermarket and you've got 20 bucks worth of information. Tuesday, write it down. Wednesday, write it down. Thursday, write it down. And I want you to write down everything, all the money that's going out. And don't say to me, Jason, I get chips and soda at lunchtime and a Slurpee. It's only $3. How important could that be? Well, $3 a day, 7 days a week is $21 a week. Times 52 weeks a year, there's $1,000. So the money can get out very quickly. So what I want you to do in an expense form is I want you to write down the money that's coming in and the money that's going out. So if you're spending it on food or groceries, anything, anytime cash leaves your pocket for 1 month, write it down. At the same time, if you have money coming in, if you want, you can put down, I think I want to put in my paycheck in there as far as income coming in as well. It makes you write things down. If you're married, make sure your husband or your wife or whoever writes the same thing down. It's good practice. It's a good way for you to understand where the stuff goes. It's archaic because it's not an app on your phone, but it really makes you justify everything that you're doing. It's just a great tool to use. So once we have all of our information and we have everything put together in four weeks worth of saving, the reason I want you to do 4 weeks is because everything in our lives is based around a monthly payment. So if you're going to pay rent, you're going to pay it once a month. Your electric bill, once a month. Your car payment, once a month. So we need to use our 4-week basis in order to figure out how much money we're spending on a monthly basis and how much money we have coming in. I call it dollars in America. I call them 2 kinds of dollars, and people always look at me funny. There's 2 kinds of dollars in America? And I go, yes. Gazinta dollars and gazada dollars. And money that goes into your pocket, that's the happy money. We love having that. The money that goes out of your pocket, those are your expenses. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify where everything goes. So I want you to journalize your spending. I want you to write things down. If you don't see where the money is going, you cannot tell me what you can fix. If you don't see that you're spending $5 every morning at McDonald's, let's say, for a quick breakfast, then you can't say to me, well, what can I do to save money? Well, maybe you don't shop at McDonald's. Maybe you buy eggs. Maybe you make something at home. Maybe you make cereal at home. And instead of spending $5 a day, you're going to spend $2 a day or $3 a day and start to save some money. So we want to make sure we journalize our spending. You cannot make corrections if you can't see where the money is going. Next, calculate your income. You know, don't turn around and say to me, oh, I make $35,000 a year, because that's your gross income. That's not what pays the rent. Your net income is what pays the rent. The money that comes into your pocket, not the money that goes to your taxes and your insurance and all that stuff. You don't see that money. So I need you to be honest when you sit back and say how much money you're really making and how much money you're really spending. So write down your expenses. What is fixed and what is variable? For example, if you know your monthly your electric payment is going to be $45 a month, that's a given. It's going to be $45 a month or $50 a month. If you have a variable payment and that's going to change every month, you also need to write that down to make accommodations. Also, consider making savings a monthly expense and pay it as a bill. You're going to pay your bill for rent. You're going to pay a bill for electric. You're going to pay a bill for your credit card. Why not write a check for why not consider going to writing a bill for savings and say, okay, I'm going to put $50 in my savings. It's better if you can do that on a weekly basis. Don't let that money go. Make sure it gets to savings right away. So a plan. Let's establish a plan. What do we want to do? Do you want to take a small vacation? Yes, I want to take a vacation. Great. Well, what's that going to cost me? Well, if I'm going to go to a theme park, it's going to cost me $100 for a ticket. I'm going with 2 people. It's going to cost me $200. I'm going to be there 2 days. Is $400. Well, I'm going to get a hotel for the night. There's $100. And I'm going to have tolls for the car. I'm going to have gas for the car. I'm going to have food. So I want you to think everything through as to what's going to cost you. Don't just say to me, I'm going to go for 2 days, it's going to cost me $200 for the theme park, because it's going to be more than that. It's going to be more for food. It's going to be more for little, trinkets that you're going to buy. It's going to be the hotel and things like that. So you need to write that stuff down. Don't sit back and say to yourself, well, I'm doing a budget, I can't take a small vacation. Sure you can, but plan for it. Figure out what it's going to be and say, every month I'm going to take $25, I'm going to take $50 away and put things away. There used to be something called layaway. A layaway at like at Kmart and Sears was you wanted to do your Christmas shopping, you started in July. You bought the item, and every month you put away $25 in layaway. So when Christmas time came, you had it all paid for. Same kind of thing here. Put up a plan, see what you can do to make things work. Reduce your spending. Remember what I said before about paying with cash and controlling it? If you're going to go shopping, take cash. Don't take a ton of cash, but say to yourself, I'm going to budget myself for $50, $60, $80. That's all you take with you. And take that cash, and if you're going to spend it for clothes, do it. Don't take a check. Don't take a credit card. And the reason being is that when you do that, people get in more debt for using credit cards because, it was $80, but I have my credit card, so I paid $110 for it. Well, that's great. You spent a few more dollars because you had your credit card because it was a lot easier than getting cash, but at the same time, you didn't pay attention to the interest that you're going to be paying on that credit card to the next one. So you got to be careful about that. It's really, really important that you do it. I'm seeing some questions pop up on the top as far as the slides. Is everybody okay on the slides? I'm on step 4, so hopefully that's good. Yeah, okay, great. I just see yes, it's okay now.
So, okay, it's good. Good.
Okay, perfect. So again, rethink your shopping styles, and what that means is if you have a weakness of going shopping, then don't make your Saturday ritual going shopping with your best friend, because the temptation is going to be too strong. You need to know your weaknesses. You need to know what you can do to make things work, and you have to be disciplined with what you're doing. These are all key things in budgeting. And the same thing for your spouse. If your spouse is doing the same thing and they're not paying attention, you've got to put them also on a budget and make sure that, look, when you go to the store, all you got is $50. If you do more of that, that's your problem. But as a household, we're going to make the budget work and stick with it. Don't forget to pay yourself first. If you don't pay yourself, nobody will. And paying yourself first means a savings account. And when we're talking about a savings account, make sure that when you're putting together your money, you're putting together X amount of dollars to go into savings. I don't care if it's just $10 a week. I don't care if it's $20 a week. Put something in there. Once you start to do it, you'll feel better and you'll actually see it grow. If you don't pay yourself first, you're never going to see that money. It's not going to happen. Prioritize your spending habits, okay? And like I said, what's important? Well, needs and wants. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide, but needs and wants. Wants, I would love to have a brand new Mercedes to go to work, but maybe my need is going to be, I'm going to buy a Ford Focus, and it's going to be something I can afford to do. So I don't know about everybody out on the audience, but I'm still on my iPhone 5. I have not gone to the iPhone 6, and I'm sure as heck not going to be waiting in line to buy an iPhone 7, because what do I need it for? I need it for my phone, my emails, and a couple of pictures and texting. The 5 is just as good as the 6. The 6 is 7, but people were waiting in line for iPhone 6s. They were paying $700, $800 for a phone, but maybe the 5 was doing just as well, okay? So when you're on the budget kick, you really need to pay attention to really what's important and ways that you can do to save money for yourselves. If you have something in savings, it's going to make you feel better, because what if an emergency comes up? I don't want you using credit cards at 15, 18, 20, 22%. It just doesn't work. Get your family involved. It's easier to make the budget work if everyone understands and supports and doing it together. So, for example, if you're going to go shopping, you're taking the kids and say, okay, here's your $10 or $15. You can run around the store. You can go pick up your Oreos. You can pick up your soap, whatever you want for your drinks. And that's all you've got. Let them understand what it's like to budget. Don't be the one person looking like the bad guy because you're trying to make the budget work. Make it a team effort. Coupon clippers. I see it every time I do seminars. There are people that have these little 3x5 cards, and they've got all the clippings put in there, and they've got these things in alphabetical order. And before they leave the house to go food shopping, they take a look at the newspapers, they take the flyers, they take their coupons, and they go with a list. Do not shop when you're hungry. If you shop when you're hungry, you will blow a budget. So make sure that the tummy feels good when you go there, so you're only going to go and buy the things that you need. And again, when purchasing with a credit card, you're more apt to spend more dollars than if you were paying cash. Needs and wants. I just can't get into that enough. You really need to make sure really what's important. Your needs are what you need to make the stuff work every day, not your wants. Wants can be cut, and you can modify, your wants and eliminate them, put them on a back burner, maybe put them for a long-term goal for something that you need. And your impulse buying is really important. Compare prices. Wait until things go on sale and shop. Don't be afraid to shop. And if something looks great, just wait a little bit, because if you wait a little bit, it'll probably go on sale and you can get something a lot cheaper. So using some of those tips as far as budgeting goes, it really is, I find the most important thing to make tools work. Now, let's go to debt repayment options. Now, debt repayment options, when people have debt, they take a look at things on TV. They look at these companies that advertise and say, you only have to pay 20% of your debt. You have rights. You don't have to do certain things, okay? That's a debt settlement company. And basically what they're trying to make you do is they're trying to let you come in, talk with them, and they want you to give them all your money, and then they're going to try and negotiate down your debt for you. Okay, that's a debt settlement company. Debt management plans is a little bit different. Our company, Debt Management Credit Company, Debt Management Credit Counseling, does debt management plans. They're called DMPs. Basically, what we do is you contact us. We do a budget with you. We find out how much you owe. We find out the interest rates that you're paying on your credit cards, and if we think they're too high, we have the creditors' tables in our computer, and we can say we can probably reduce that MasterCard from 22% down to 6%. And all you do is you make a payment to us every month. We, in turn, make an agreement with the creditor and make the payment for you on time at a reduced interest rate. And because it's a reduced interest rate, more of your payment is going towards your debt. We are a not-for-profit. Whatever we charge for fees is regulated by whatever state that we work. So we can't charge you hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do things. Most of our fees, like in Florida, are like $29 and $39. And finally, the last one is bankruptcy. So we're going to talk about these real quick. DMPs. Usually, if you go through a DMP, a debt management plan, you're making one payment towards a credit company like ours, like a credit counseling company. We, in turn, are making on-time payments to your creditors. Usually, that improves your credit score over a period of time. The neat part is it does not hurt your credit. If you pull your credit report up and took a look at it and you're on a debt management plan, the neat part about it is it shows that you're making your payments. It doesn't hurt you like a bankruptcy, something that's on your credit for 7 to 10 years. So that's really a great benefit. It's a good way to get out of debt. It's a good way to manage your money and get yourself turned around so you can get out of debt within a certain period of time. Settlement companies, the ones that we see on TV, they are going to turn around and tell you, you don't have to pay all that debt. You have rights. You only have to pay 30% of that debt. Don't pay those credit card companies. Well, when you don't pay your debts, your credit score takes a very big hit. Debt settlement companies are for-profit companies. So they are not regulated by states or federal agencies like we are as a not-for-profit. So if they want to charge you $200 to hold your money, they're going to charge you $200. If they want to charge you $150 to disperse your funds, they can charge you $150. If you sign up for it and you sign your name to the dotted line, you're going to pay for it. There is no protection for you. There's no help. and at any point in time they can go bankrupt and say, well, we've got your money here, and we've never paid your creditors, and sorry, you're going to have to go have to chase this. So settlement companies want you to pay them all of your money. They're going to try and get a whole big pile of your money, and then they're going to try and settle your debt with that organization. They're going to say, well, Mary doesn't have enough money to pay off that credit card, so we're only going to pay you 30 cents on the dollar. So they're trying to settle your debt for you. Many times, it really does destroy your credit. So just be very careful on whatever choices you're going to make as far as people are going to help you. Bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is another alternative. And bankruptcy is when people say, I have so much debt, I can't deal with it, I can't pay for it. And usually people that have a lot of medical, maybe $100,000, $200,000 in medical debt, will do a bankruptcy. And the reason being is that they'll never be able to pay it. So what they do is they go in front of a judge. The judge may turn around and say to them, depending on the type of bankruptcy, well, you might have to sell, if you have 2 cars, you might have to sell 1 car. We're going to take that money and pay down your debt. We might put you on a program that, okay, we're doing a budget with you and you can afford X amount of dollars. So what you're going to do is you're going to pay the court maybe X amount of dollars for the next 5 years, and we're going to take that as your final payment towards bankruptcy. So there's so many different plans about bankruptcy. I don't want to get into specifics, but a bankruptcy will lower your credit score, and it's going to stay on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. The same as debt settlement. Whenever you don't pay your debt off in full, it's going to stay on your credit report, and it's going to show that the stuff has not been paid in full, and again, it'll affect your score for 7 to 10 years. So just beware. I'm not giving you direction. I don't necessarily not want you to do a bankruptcy, but I want you to just really do your homework and see what it's going to do for your credit in the long term, so you don't create a problem for yourself. If you think you're going to buy a home in 1 or 2 years, you're going to file bankruptcy today, that's not going to happen. If you think you might want to be buying a new car or getting a new home in 1 or 2 years, settlement is going to destroy your credit in the short term, so don't even think of doing something like that. So just do your homework first. I think that's what I'm trying to tell you. So while we're here, what I want you to do is I want to go over some information about your credit scores and credit reports, because a lot of misconceptions about them, and what I'm going to teach you real quickly is the most important thing about your credit reports and how your credit score is calculated. Knowing that, you're going to be able to go forward and really take care of your finances and make things work. A credit report is important because the information that is put on your credit report will make a determination whether you're going to get a loan and the interest rate that you're going to pay. So if you want to buy a house, you want to buy a condo, you want to buy an airplane, you want to buy a boat, you want to buy a car, you need a loan, guess what? You're going to be looking at your credit. The same as getting a credit card. They're going to look at your credit. Insurance companies use information to decide whether you're going to get insurance and to set the rates you will apply. So your little buddy there on Geico, the little rat that runs around on TV, he's going to take a look at your credit every month. They are going to look at your credit. And if your credit changes, they may change the interest rates they charge you because they're going to associate credit issues with you being a risk. Employers, if you're going to go for a job, if you fill out a job application, on the back you have to sign on the dotted line. Below the dotted line, there is some real fine print. Fine print 1 says, by signing my name here, I am authorizing my employer to do a criminal and credit background check on me. So if you and I go for the exact same job, we both have the exact same experience, but you have a wonderful credit score and I have a terrible one, employers can use that to cancel you out of a job. They'll screen you out with it. Telephone and utility companies will look at it, whether they're going to give you a phone or not, and landlords are going to take a look at your credit. If you can't make your $20 Macy's payment on time, then they're probably going to say, well, we're going to need an extra month of security deposit from you. So who collects your reports and your information? Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those are the 3 credit bureaus that gather and maintain the information about you. They create credit reports from the information. All they are the people that create the credit reports. They don't necessarily know if the credit report information is correct or incorrect. All they know is that that's the information that the creditors are giving them to create this credit report, okay? So it's good practice to review your credit report and make sure all of your creditors are listed and the information on your report is correct. For example, when you get your credit report, it's going to have your name, address, date of birth, social security number. Make sure that information is correct. And also, make sure that if you have a credit card with First National Bank of California, when you look at your credit report, you should see that credit card listed. It's going to have how long you've been a client of theirs, what your monthly debt is, and if you've been making your payments on time or if you've been late. So it's good for you to go through it, because if there's some credit information on there that's not you, then you want to make sure that that information is taken off. It will have maybe an automobile loan. It's going to have your mortgage. Anything that you've got a loan with will show up on that credit report. Credit bureaus are required by law to provide you a free copy of your credit report once every 12 months or whenever you're denied credit. So this website, www.annualcreditreport.com, is where you would go to get a free copy of your credit report. Now, you're entitled to one free credit report every 12 months. As I said in the previous slide, we have 3 credit bureaus. So when you go to this website, you can get all 3 credit bureaus at once, or maybe you can get the Equifax one today, 4 more months, go back on and get the TransUnion, and then 8 more months, go get the Experian one, and then in 12 more months, go back and get your Equifax one. So now you're getting a different one every 4 months. You're reviewing it, making sure the information is correct. If you get them all at one shot, then you can't get a free one for another 12 months. So just something to consider. So credit scores. When you talk about credit scores, the company that makes them is called FICO. You hear what they're called FICO scores. They're called Beacon scores. They're all pretty much the same thing. Their range for credit scores are 300 to 850. In the U.S., the median score is a 675. So if you get your credit score and you have a 675 or better, you're doing great. If you have anything lower than that, you probably want to work on improving it. Lenders are going to look at your credit scores, and they're either going to deny you or approve you for a loan, and also the interest rates that they're going to charge you, okay? So now, this is the nuts and bolts of your credit scores. We have a pie chart. Every single one of those categories in there is what makes up your credit score. So see if you can understand this. 35% of your score, the largest piece of pie, is made up by how you pay your bills. So if you're never late on paying your bills, your score will be 35% to the positive. If you are late paying your bills, and what I mean by that, if you're 30 days late on a payment, your score could take a substantial hit, your credit score, because see how important it is? 35% of your score is if you pay your bills on time. So I'm telling you, don't be late. If the payment says they want it by the 15th, if you have online payments, do it on the 13th. So you have your receipt and you know it's there. If the payment's due on 15th and you're going to do it by mail, don't lick the envelope on the 15th, because by the time you lick it, by the time you put your stamp, by the time it gets in the mail, it may not be there for 1 or 2 weeks. So make sure that when a payment is due, it's due. Even if you can afford only the minimum payment, do it. Don't be late. You can always add more payments the next week, but don't be late on the time that they want it. Really is important. The next part, the slide's getting a little bit smaller, but 30% of your score is outstanding debt. How much money do you owe? So, for example, when you have a credit, if you have a $1,000 limit on your credit card, that means you can charge up to $1,000. Is that good? Well, it's good that you can spend $1,000, but is it good for your credit? No, because you're maxing out your credit card. So I don't want you spending more than 30 to 35% of your limit on your credit card. So if you have a $1,000 limit, try not to exceed $300 to $350 when you use it. Because if you do, you can use the credit, but it's going to hurt your score because you have too much debt on that credit card. Length of credit history. How long have you had credit? It's better if you can show you've managed credit for a long period of time. So do not close old credit cards. If you have a bunch of old credit cards, if you close a credit card, what you're doing at that point is all that history that you have built up is gone. It leaves you credit because it's no longer current, and your score could go down. I've got a credit card I had when I graduated college about, well, I don't want to say how long ago. I don't want you to know how old I am. It's an old credit card. It doesn't have great benefits. But if I close that credit card now, I'd probably take a 100 to 110 point hit on my credit. So don't necessarily close credit cards for the sake of closing credit cards. If they're old, keep them. Maybe just use them a little bit and manage them because that could really help your credit. A little bit smaller, 10% credit mix. What kind of credit and debt is on your report? Secured versus unsecured loans. Secured loan is a mortgage, is an automobile loan. Unsecured is going to be credit cards. Credit bureaus want to see a mix. They want to see that you have unsecured, like credit cards, and they also want to see that you have a home loan or an auto loan. So try not to lose the mix. Don't sit back and say, well, I'm never going to get a home loan. I'm just going to use credit cards. Because if you do, it's not going to be the best for your credit. To get the most, this 10% the most out of it, try and have a balance of both credit cards and secured loans. If you can do that, credit bureaus love that because it really helps your credit score. And finally, the last one is inquiries. Be cautious with your credit applications. Every time your credit report is pulled, and I'm going to use the terminology hard inquiry, it lowers your score. So, for example, when I told you to go to annual credit report and get your copy of your credit reports, you are doing an inquiry on yourself. But that doesn't hurt your score. You getting your own credit and reviewing it does not hurt your score. It's when somebody else looks at your score to give you a loan. For example, you go to Macy's, they say to you, you could save 10% today if you opened up a credit card. If you say yes, they are going to do a hard inquiry on your credit, and they're going to give you a credit card. And when they do that, your score will go down. Why? Anytime you get credit, your score goes down because you're increasing your outstanding debt. Over a period of time, your score will go back up, but the initial inquiry will lower your score. So the goal is don't go for any inquiries unless you're going to use that credit. Don't just go around getting willy-nilly credit card applications and filling out, because every time you do, you're going to hurt your score. So your scores are not free. Your credit reports are free, but your scores are not. And if you go to annualcreditreport.com, they will sell you your score, all three of them, for like $10.95. I don't necessarily think you have to pay for it because there's a couple things you can do. If you go to Google search or MSN search, just type in free credit score calculator. If you type that in, they have different programs that you can just type your information real quick, like they're going to ask you some questions. How long have you had credit? Have you ever been late? When was the last time you applied for credit? Things like that. Have you closed any credit cards? And by answering those questions, they'll be able to give you a very good credit score estimate, probably within 5 or 10 points. So unless you really, really need the number, and by the way, many credit card companies right now, when you want to make your payment, they're giving you free credit scores. You can just do a little search in there and type in, I have CitiCard and I know I have First Bank of Omaha. Those folks give free credit scores as a benefit. Credit Karma is another way to get your score. I don't like using Credit Karma, and the only reason you see it advertised on TV all the time is because they want to know all your personal information. And I don't like getting all this stuff in emails and getting all this stuff mailed to me because I gave someone my information over the line. So Credit Karma, I guess you can do it. I don't like doing it. So, educational resources. If you go to our website, and I put the C's in capital because there's 3 in a row, dmcccorp.org, you can go onto our website, you can click onto the educational icon, and when you do that, it's going to bring you to another site that we have. It's called DMCC University. Go there. There's free articles, there's video. We also have an online financial literacy course called Debt, Money, and Credit Concepts. It's an online course. You can take it whenever you want. You can go through the modules one at a time. The computer grades it at the end, and it's done in English and Spanish. And we also have some articles in the military section as well. If you need any help and you need any help with budgeting, call that number right there, the toll-free number. Ask to speak to a certified counselor. Just say, I need some budgeting help. We'll give you budgeting help for free. So how do we do it? I think we made our time okay.
Yes, Jason, you did great with the time. So that means we do have, we can open this up for some questions. So
great.
Does anybody from our audience want to ask a question at this time? Any of our listeners?
I have a question.
Go for it.
Hi, Jason. My name is Terry.
Hi, how are you?
I couldn't access, I'm good, thank you. I couldn't access the slides, so I'd like to know how I could go about getting them.
I think that the whole thing is going to be up on your Calvet site, right?
Yeah, so Terry, we can do a couple things. We can email this to you, and we can also, it'll be recorded and posted on our website, so we can send a link out.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Why don't you just, go ahead and email us. It's womenveterans@calvet.ca.gov.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else with some questions?
I'm going to throw one thing else out here if I can. If anybody wants to just contact us, we have a budgeting workbook. It's probably about 8 or 9 pages long, and on the back of it there's an interactive CD. I normally have those when I go out to seminars to give out to folks, and they can use the interactive CD to populate their budget. If you want, what I can do is I can turn around and send a bunch of these books out to Lindsay if you want, and you can have a little supply of them there. And they're just great tools to have. It's a great small booklet to have, and the interactive CD in the back is just, I think, a great tool.
Yeah, we'll be happy to be able to send those out to people or have them come pick them up. So if anybody's interested, please inquire, and we can get those from Jason. I really like the idea.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Question. Hello?
Yes,
go for it.
Yeah. Oh, question. Hi. My name's Dolores. Is there, Jason, directed to Jason, is there a certain number of credit cards or maximum number of credit cards that one should possess?
I guess that depends who you ask. I don't like having more than 2 credit cards, and the only reason I say that is because I can manage 2. I think that's a great amount. I don't use department store credit cards because their interest rates are very high and makes it very easy for you to go spend money at their locations, and just, it doesn't help the budget much. So I've seen people with 4 or 5 credit cards, and they manage them very well. I see people that manage 2 credit cards, and they make sure that every single one of them that they have, that they get these great reward points so they can do certain things with them. I don't like credit cards with reward points, only because of the fact that they make you spend your money, and it's probably not the best deals you get with credit cards. If you're going to get a credit card with reward points, try and find one that anytime you have reward points, you can use that money to immediately buy down your debt. They'll turn around and add, if you have a $100 credit, they'll add that $100 to the debt that you owe, and that's probably the best way I think that you could utilize a tool like that. So the answer is, it's as good as you want to manage them, but I don't know if I'd be getting more than 3 cards, to be honest.
Okay. So you're saying cashback cards are probably best?
Cashback is a good. Just make sure that you read the fine print. Some people look at this American Airlines Advantage cards. Okay, oh, that's great. I can get all these miles and then do an airplane flight. Okay, every year it's $100 enrollment fee, membership fee for that card.
Oh.
So if it takes you 3 years to get enough points for an airline ticket, well, you've already paid $300 for the card, right? So maybe you could have gotten a better deal on JetBlue. So you really have to take a look and just see what all they are and the costs involved. I like the idea of using the credit card. They want to give you reward points, fine. Make sure that you can take those reward points and convert them to dollars to pay and apply that towards your monthly statement and buy down the debt.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So we have a couple questions on chat as well, Jason, that I want to make sure we address.
Okay.
One is from, it looks like Carolyn Carter. She's asking, on the subject of credit cards and closing them, I have a credit card that has a monthly service fee of $8.95 per month, so $8.95 per month, and would like to close it, but know that I probably shouldn't. What do you suggest? Should I close it or keep it open?
It really depends how much you use it. If that's the only card that you have, ultimately I'd like to see you get out of that card because that's an expensive card to have. I'd like to see you, if you're just building your credit, I'd like to see you get a secured credit card. We have one on our site that we use with a credit union up on Tallahassee, Florida, and they'll open up a secured credit card with as little as $200. And is a very inexpensive card to use. That card that you have there for $8.95 a month can be a little bit on the expensive side, but if you're currently using it, you're building credit with it, and you're trying to get your credit score up, then you might use that for a while, then get a different credit card, and then wean off of that one and potentially close it. But if that's the only card you have for $8.95 a month and it's helping you build your credit, then use it. And again, get a copy of that credit report, take a look at the information, find out what your credit score is, and maybe you should be ready to make a switch towards something else.
Great. Next question is from, I think it's Renea Leathers. She's asking, do you have any tips for handling my own credit after a divorce?
I would definitely, if you've gone through a divorce, and I'm not trying to sound mean here, but I think that you need to lock your credit. And locking your credit means that you go to the 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and you type in credit freeze. Credit freeze. And what that means is you will go on to that site, you will take a look at the credit freeze. They are going to ask you a few questions to make sure that you are you. For example, 3 years ago you had a loan for your vehicle and it was with Bank of America, it was BB&T or something else. Only you know the answer to that. When you answer that correctly, they in turn will accommodate you to freeze your credit. And what that means is, in the state of Florida, and I'm not sure what California charges, but in the state of Florida, they can charge $10 per credit bureau to freeze your credit. So that means that when you pay the fee to freeze your credit, they are going to give you a PIN number, 1, 2, 3, ABC, whatever, and you're going to keep that PIN number. Now, what that means is when they freeze your credit, nobody will have access to your credit unless they have that PIN number. So it doesn't affect your daily credit. You still use your credit cards every day. You still go, anything that you want to do. But let's say you wanted to go to the automobile dealership to get a new car loan. As soon as you fill out the paperwork that says, yes, I want to get a loan, you're going to give them your Social Security number. They, in turn, are going to go to the credit bureaus, and they're going to try and look at your credit to see if they can give you a loan. As soon as they do that, your credit report is going to pop, and it's going to say, this credit report is frozen. What is the PIN number? Do not give that PIN number to anybody. What you will do is you will go to that website, let's say it's Equifax, you will click on freeze your credit. You will also go on and you want to unfreeze your credit. You will put in your PIN number, you will pay $10, and that will open your credit report for someone to review it to give you credit. As soon as you're done, as soon as that person reviews your credit, and let's say you get a loan, go back onto that website and freeze your credit. So the only time that you pay the credit bureaus is when you lock or unlock your credit. I've had my credit locked for 5 years. I paid $10 to all 3 credit bureaus to lock it 5 years ago, and that's it. I've never unlocked it. I've never unlocked it because I haven't applied for any loans or anything. So, for example, when you go through a divorce, you know your husband's Social Security number. He knows your Social Security number. If something happens, I've seen it where other couples have gone on to the other couple's applied for a credit card in their name, and before they know it, they signed their name to the application and they get a credit card. So divorce is, I'm sorry that someone's going through a divorce, but protect yourself, freeze your credit so nobody has access to your credit. And at that point, whenever you want to get credit, don't lose the PIN numbers. You utilize those PIN numbers to unfreeze your credit in order for you to unfreeze your credit report so you can get credit. But divorce is nasty, it's messy, especially when there's other parties involved. So my advice to you is use your credit. It's the best way to start to manage everything you've got.
Thank you, Jason. So we've had several requests for the budgeting worksheets.
Okay.
And Julie and I would like them too for our personal use. So
okay. I will email them to you, no problem.
Yeah, I think we're all seeing this as a really helpful tool that we'd like to do. So now, does DMCC University offer those to download, or is that from the dmcccore.org website, or do we need to get some directly from you?
I'll send them to you because I talked to Jessica at the office today. I was going to ask her this morning because I hadn't seen them on the site and they are not there. So I will just email them to you, and you can put them up on your site and use them as you want. And also, if you want to give me a head count, I will get you the budgeting workbooks, and I'll send those in the mail to you. And those are the ones with the CDs in the back. But I will email you the daily expense trackers.
Okay, wonderful, great. So we'll be getting the daily expense trackers for folks that wanted them, and then we can have some budgeting workbooks. So that's wonderful. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I think we're all we'd be so eager to see that. So
great.
1 or 2 questions I have, just so people are just to kind of overarching cover a few things. So a lot of what you guys do is based on laws in the state of Florida. If someone were to come to DMCC to look at a debt management option, would they still be able to do that even though you guys are in Florida and we're here in California?
Yes, we are licensed. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. We are licensed in 46 states. And so anybody that contacts us, we can turn around and provide services for them. If somebody decided they needed a debt management plan, we do full disclosure, and we would say to them, this is what the state of Florida says the fee is, and this is part of the cost of doing this. So we tell you right up front what it is. Florida's a little bit cheaper than other states. Other states waive fees. So each state is different, and all of our counselors have that in our system. So, and I know we're licensed in California. We've helped a ton of people out there. So just have them call us, and when I talk to the counselor, the first thing you're asked is, how'd you hear about us, and then secondly, what state are you from, and they'll be able to disclose all the costs or requirements that the state has.
Okay, wonderful. That's really helpful. That was one of my main questions. A lot of questions that we had, you definitely answered and folks answered. Now, we were talking about DMCC University and some of the information and modules you guys have on that separate site a little earlier before the call started. Can you, that website again for DMCC University, is that all one word again?
If you just go to dmcccorp.org, and you get to our main website, up at the top icon is education. When you click on that, it'll automatically bring you into DMCC University. And then once you're into DMCC University, it's great because it's a great open forum. and there you can click on to videos, you can click on to online educational course. I think there's a first-time home buyers course up there that you can register and just take and learn a lot of the ins and outs about home ownership. There's the Debt, Money, and Credit Concepts course, which is the one we're talking about here for financial literacy. You click onto it and you give yourself a username and password, and away you go. And it's in English and Spanish. That's under the DMCC University part of our website.
Okay. Yeah, I see right here even there's information about repayment of student loans, payday loan assistance, debt management. Great. Okay.
Right.
Well, we've hit the 11 o'clock hour, so do we have any final questions from our attendees? Anyone else want to ask something of Jason or Calvet while we have you on the line? Nope. Well,
I think if you want to, feel free to give the attendees my email, my direct email, which is Jason, Jason, Jason at dmcconline.org. And if you just want to, if somebody just wants to send me an email, they have something personal they want to ask, I'll be more than glad to help them. And if they need any help, they're more than welcome. That's the best way to get me, as I'm on the road quite a bit. But that's Jason at dmcconline.org. And I just want to say thank you for the invite. It was, I hope I didn't talk too fast. I hope the information got out there and everybody was able to get a good handle on it. And feel free to just email me if you have anything or need any help.
Thank you, Jason. The feedback has been really great so far, and this will be recorded on our website. We can also provide the PowerPoint for anyone that wants it. So remember to email us, womenveterans@calvet.ca.gov, or visit our website, calvet.ca.gov/womenvets, and then you can find the webinar recording. It'll be up in a couple of days. Jason, I can't thank you enough. I learned a lot. I know Julian learned a lot. We really, really appreciate your time and what your organization does to help men and women, and definitely veterans. So thank you.
Not a problem. If you need me to do a road trip, we'll discuss that one.
Okay. Yeah, we'll bring you out to California for sure. So really appreciate it.
It'd be fun, and I think that we could have a lot of fun doing some great seminars out there to help a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week, and we just so appreciate it. We'll be back in November, so look for a projected date and time for our next webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.